Hey, where you going? What you after? Huh? What you got there? What is that? What is that? What's that? Huh? What? I can't have it? What is that? Huh? Let me take a look. What do you got? What do you got? Huh? You're not going to let me have it? Really? I need to show everybody what you got. What is that? What is that? Huh? What do you got? Oh, come on, man. Really? Come on. Okay, it's Sunday, June 19th, and we'll start off with an update on what we've done. Let's see, after I made my video last weekend, I didn't film what else I did, but I've got the interior all in it. Sorry about the lighting, the bright light shining in the garage, but this project is almost done, and I really liked saying that because I liked the sound of it. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed watching it go together, but it took way too long, a lot longer than I anticipated when I tore it apart a long time ago. But I just feel like I can move on to other stuff, I guess. But we've got a few little things to wrap up on this truck, but the interior is mostly done. Now this interior is all original. I haven't bought anything. Put it all back in like it was. I cleaned it up. I need to find some paint and repaint that metal strip. See, the one with the 3 screws right above the rear window. It's a little rusty. A little rust bled through the paint. It's metal, unlike everything else in here that's plastic. And see, the headliner, I did a little bit of a repair to it. It was sagging over there. If you can see those lines right there, that's where I glued it back on. I was able to, of course it's the opposite side, but I was able to, you can't see it under the trim, but I was able to tear this off because it was sagging like right here, and I was able to tear it off at the edge and get some spray-on adhesive under it. Then I smoothed it on, and it turned out a lot better than it was. It's not perfect, and I may end up replacing or repair. I might just make a piece. These pieces here, it's called the A-pillar trim, I believe. Both of them are broken here, both sides. I found a few on eBay. They seem rather proud of them, going by the price. They're used ones. I haven't seen any new ones. The only new ones I've seen are the aftermarket ones with the gauge for the driver's side. They may have them for a passenger side too, I don't know. But I'm thinking about just making a piece, maybe even out of aluminum and shining it up, because the screw goes right about there. And that holds it in and probably keep it from rattling. But when you shut the door, you can't really see it. So there's the interior. Like I said, it's all original, which was in very good shape for a pickup truck, because trucks get abused. Now, these armrests here, I may replace them. This one isn't too bad, but the other one is worn slick, and it's got a kind of oil stains from where everybody, including me, resting their arm over it over the years. So other than that, that's all only flaws in the interior, and one little dash crack. And I have yet to actually do some real cleaning on this interior. I did clean the panels as I put them in, all the rear panels and the door panels. As far as the dash goes, I blew the dust off of it, but I haven't gone over it with any protectant cleaner. So what I've done this weekend, I told you in the last video that I missed some spots with the buffing, and did have some buff scratches in it where the buffing wheel got up here in the black, and it really showed up in the black. And you can still see it a little bit, but I got most of it hand rubbed out. I've done everything on the truck except for this panel here, and I left that one just so I could make a video of it. And I'm going to and it was actually the worst one. You can see where I really missed the where I sanded, really missed it with the buffing wheel. So I'm going to show you what I did to get that out by hand. I mean, I could just use my buffing wheel and get rid of that, but after I got the truck all cleaned up again, I didn't want to make a mess because it does sling that buffing compound everywhere. So here's what I did. I bought two of these. Those are just applicator pads, and two of these. Got the different colors just so I could, because if I'm using a rough polishing compound, I want to use only rough on that pad, and then when I step down to a finer, I'll go to another pad that I can identify just by looking at. And I bought several different polishes. This is a machine polish, and I don't have an actual polisher. I got a buffer. I guess you could use this on a buffer, but I wanted to see if it would work by hand, and it did okay. It made a difference. But I found out this stuff here, it's nothing really fancy or hard to find. I found it at O'Reilly's. It's just regular old McGuire's polishing compound. It's not a wax. If you use this stuff, don't count on it being a protectant. It is a polishing compound, and it feels pretty coarse. But after trying this stuff out, I mean, I tried doing it in stages. I used wherever my buffing compound went, and there it is. After looking for it for about 3 or 4 minutes, which will be edited out, you won't see. So yeah, this was the stuff I used when I did the buffing video, and this is the first stage, and I ran out of the second stage. I done thrown the bottle away, and I'm pretty sure this could be used as a second stage if you're machine buffing or polishing. But I found out after trying this, stepping down to that, and then this, and then I gave it a coat of, this is actually, you can't read it no more, but this is about a gallon of 3M Pinking Glaze. It's a, if you can't see the bottom of it right there, the instructions: fill swirl marks after compounding, produces a high luster. Not sure if it's an actual protectant, but it does make it feel a little slicker, kind of like you put wax on it. But I always follow up with this stuff after I do buffing. But I found out, okay, point I'm getting to here is that I found out I can skip this and this, and I just went straight to this. Not right after you sand it, of course, but like I said, doing the touching up after buffing. I found out that this stuff right here will get rid of a very big part of that. I mean, I'm sure if you shined a really, really bright light on it and wanted to look at it under a microscope, yeah, you'd be seeing it. But you can see this looked just as bad, and I had some bad buffing marks up here on the black, which could really be seen when the light hit it the right way. But it's all gone now. I have buffing marks right here, and we're going to be getting rid of that with this stuff right here. And really, that's all you need, that, and then follow up with some Pinking Glaze, and then you can give it a coat of wax. So we're going to be doing this and this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this one little spot here and show you how well this stuff does. Okay, so I'm going to use this applicator pad right here. I've got it a little bit wet. It doesn't have to be soaking wet. Don't guess it would hurt, but I wouldn't recommend it. And just got a little damp. And I'm just going to spot a little bit of this stuff on here. Actually, last night I was using this side and it's caked with it, so I decided to switch sides here. And because after a while it kind of dries on the pad, and I found out that I didn't really have to spend a lot of time on each small area. I went in circulars and straight, because I am actually removing sand scratches with this stuff without buffing. I wouldn't recommend wet sanding a car or truck down and do all hand polishing. Some people like that, but that would work you to death. But this is really good for when you just want to touch up spots you missed. Maybe you got a scratch that didn't go all the way through the paint, and you don't want to make a mess with your machine buffer. And that's basically the reason I am doing this by hand. And actually, even the parts that buffed out pretty nice, I went over the whole panel, like right here, and you could really see the difference. And this is, like I said, before waxing. This is not a wax. Want to make sure you understand that. This is not a wax. It is not a protectant. As you can see, I have not spent that much time on this area. And my first rag that I take it off with, I just want to get the biggest part of it off. Just removing. I'm going to use a finer, softer polishing rag to finish it up. And as you can see, let me get in the light at the right angle. Yeah, it got rid of that real quick. That works pretty good. That's good for when you just want to fix small spots. Maybe you want to wet sand a run out with 1500, follow up 3000, and you don't want to get the buffer out and make a mess. I think this stuff would be great for that too. Now, I do have a run on the hood. We'll try that at a later date. Right now the run's going to stay in it. But, because I got other stuff I want to move on to. But there you go. I haven't even gone over it with the Pinking Glaze yet. And that's looking pretty good from this angle behind the camera. And what I got next, I'm going to go ahead and go over the rest of the silver from here up. And this here, as you can tell, you can still see a little bit of sanding mark right there. Let's see if I can get that out. And it's a little cloudy here because I did wet sand from here to here. If you remember back when I sprayed the cab, I had some trash in there where my pants, sweatpants, rubbed it when I stood up on my steps and painted the roof. And that wet sanded and buffed out pretty decent. That looks better than it did. Don't have all that trash in there. But it's a little cloudy and not quite as glossy as what I did in buff. So we'll see what that does with that. Okay, don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. I can see by looking through the lens, we've got a lot of reflections of lights going on in there. Try it with the lights out and you can still see something there. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can make this black look a lot better. The part where I've sanded and buffed. And right here is where I can still see sanding scratches. Couldn't really get a buffer up in there without tearing something up. Now I'm just going to do this part. I'm really going to put an effort right in here. I couldn't get in there with a buffer if I wanted to, right up there against that rubber seal. See what it looks like. Just wipe that off. Oh yeah, much better. Ooh, sand scratching. Okay, if you really, really want to nitpick, I can barely see it. Don't know what it shows on, looks like on camera, but you can see it's a lot better. Get that out of that rubber seal. And, oh yeah, that's pretty shiny. You still see something right there. Might try giving that a second attempt. Maybe if I go in a circular motion, we'll see what that does. If you don't get it good enough, but you don't really feel like you got time to spend all day on it, you can always say it's better for now. And with this stuff, you can just come right back and when you got more time and give it another try. Maybe just do a little bit every day if you don't want to spend hours and hours rubbing and buffing all day. That's kind of the way I do something like this. If it looks good enough where a lot of people ain't going to notice unless you point it out, I'll say good for now, and then I'll just whittle on it a little bit every week because I tend to get bored with grueling hand rubbing and polishing all day long. Still see a little bit, but it's a lot better than it was. Try the cleaner rag. That is a lot better than it was. A little something on my rag there. Don't know what that was. And we'll see. I really got to get at the right angle to see it. I don't know if the camera's showing or not. I can still see a little bit there. But I'm pretty sure out in the sunlight, not going to be able to see it. So, we'll take some Pinking Glaze that I showed you in the big bottle. I just put some on this. And we'll spend a little time rubbing that in. This is a scratch and swirl remover, supposedly fills swirl marks. Not really a protectant either, or sealant like a protective wax would be, but when you got something that has a lot of scratch marks from a lot of washing with maybe too rough of a rag or even a brush, this is good for that, just to bring it back to looking good. And of course I use a separate rag to wipe my wax off with. Make sure it's clean. Doesn't have any oil or anything in it. And that made it, still see it right there. Don't know if you can in the camera still, but it's a little better. And like I said, if you don't want to spend all day on something, you can say good enough for now and come back and just whittle a little bit on it once a week or whatever you want to do. And there you go. That's how I got rid of that stuff. And that is a lot better. If you go back and look at my videos and see how that looked when my pants rode it while I was shooting, I am happy with that. And that's why, like I said, back when I painted it, when things like that happen, don't get mad. Everything can be fixed. Still see a few scratches right there. But that is a big improvement. And I bet, unless I pointed it out to someone, they're not going to notice. I see a few right in here. But like I said, the light's got to hit it just right for you to see it. And realistically, unless it's a very high dollar show car type paint job, people aren't going to notice. I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to go over the rest of the panel with the polishing compound from here to here, because that was the part that I buffed. And I'm going to cover the whole panel with Pinking Glaze. And I still need to do my hood with Pinking Glaze only because I'm not buffing it. There is one run I'm going to fix on a later date. Right now, it's just going to be a shiny run. But we'll fix that. I'm wanting to move on to other stuff on this. And after I do that, I'm going to take you for a drive and show you an issue I found while driving it. Nothing too major. As promised, I said I was going to take you for a ride in it. This is not the first ride since I got this thing licensed. And I'll just show you what it does with the fuel filter light. It might not do it now, I don't know. I know when I'm on the front tank and you put it under a load, it sees a little bit of RPM, fuel filter light comes on. It doesn't do it, it has not done it on the rear tank. Just going to drive it down the road and maybe put some fuel in the rear tank. I filled up the front tank yesterday. And one thing I know for sure, me and these F-150 mirrors are not going to get along, especially with the trailer. Okay, so I couldn't find my actual window camera mount. So this camera is duct taped to the seat, which moves around a lot. So this is going to be shaky, and I apologize for that. I'll have to get me another onboard camera mount later. We'll see how it turns out. Taking off in the first granny gear. I usually don't use that unless I pull the trailer. So the fuel filter light didn't come on for that. Could have been air in that line. I don't know. It may get better. We'll see. But at least you get to go for a ride in it. Goes out immediately. Now I'm back on the front tank, and it'll stay caught up as long as I just drive it normal. So I'm going to put some fuel in the rear tank, fill it up. Now, as soon as this traffic gets out of the way, I want to see if I can make it do it again. And see if it'll recover on its own just as quick as when I switch tanks. Once I hit a curve, it couldn't stay in it. Pickup issue in the front tank, or maybe the fuel tank switch, or it switches from front to back, could possibly be partially sticking. I don't know. I may just drive it, it'll correct itself. I think it's what I need to do is just start driving to work. Don't know if I'll do that this week or not. Most definitely probably will next week. But other than that, the old truck drives good. I just shoot forward right now. Chug along at about 1,800, 45 miles per hour. Get it on the freeway, put it in fifth gear. It goes as fast as you need to go, stay under 2,500. Ever since the second time that I fixed the turbo, the smoking has stopped completely. Actually, the pipe is burning clean. Something I never did before I even touched the turbo. So it's had an issue for a long time, since I bought it basically. But that's fixed now. So, guess what? Did not get to fill up the rear tank. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, but the fuel fill pipes, the metal part, one of them was off the junkyard bed, the rear one, which was a gas truck. You know what that means? That means a diesel pump nozzle will not fit, so I couldn't fill it up. I did not even think about that while I was finding the best looking one, or actually I was trying to find the one that fit, because the truck had been apart for so long that I didn't know what was where, so I just used what I found. That just so happened the rear one, the front one is correct. I've already filled it up yesterday. The rear one I can't fill up until I swap out the correct gas fill nozzle, the metal part of it. So I'm going to drive around for a little bit. I've got almost a quarter tank in the rear tank. So we'll see if put it under a load and see if we can make that fuel filter light come on the rear tank. Yesterday I couldn't do it. I keep hoping that if I just drive it more, that little problem will go away, because it doesn't act like there's any. It's not running like there's a problem. It could be a sensor. I don't know. Well, I got a feeling it's got something to do. The thing is, it would not do it on the rear tank. So let me get to a spot where I'm not in traffic, which is hard to find around here anymore. Probably get on a freeway and see what I can make it do. And we got a guy who'd rather look at his phone than go the speed limit. Just took him 30 seconds to respond to a green light. He's in no hurry. trouble with getting on the freeway is I think they're doing road construction here. Everything you do is messed up. We'll see. Running just fine. I'm going to switch to the rear tank. Blink. Now. See if I can make it come on the rear tank. I bet it won't. Okay, so we're back from our first fairly lengthy trip. Didn't go too far. I probably went about 15 miles down the freeway, and I didn't film it because my duct tape camera holder did not hold up, and we'll see what that looks like when I edit it. But Crystal here is in her little holding area when I'm not here. She's not really ready for free range just yet. I want to make sure she's not an escape artist. So far, she's done really good. So I'm sure she did not mind being put away in a cool basement as hot as it was anyway. You can see how she's been sleeping. But as far as how the truck did, I could not make the fuel filter light come on with a switch to the rear tank. And what's causing it to do on the front tank, I'm gonna crawl under it later next week, and hopefully, well, I'm gonna look for some fuel lines. I would love for it to be something external, like a crimp fuel line or something. We'll check that, but I'm pretty sure I'll have to drop that front tank because I did put a new fuel sending unit and rubber pickup in it. It's probably sucking to the bottom of the tank maybe for some reason. We'll see, but there's how it looks. For some reason, my camera focus is making me stand a million miles away from the truck to get it all in the stream. But there's how it all looks out in the sun after I did the polishing and the waxing. And she's ready to get out. She wants me to quit gabbing. So, I'm going to call this a video. Thanks for watching. I guess the next few videos I'm going to have to replace that rear filler tube. Here's what I was talking about while I was driving. See that one, and you see this one. Yep, big difference. So maybe, no, you can't. No, maybe I can get that out of there. We'll see. I should have the correct filler tube somewhere. So anyway, there's how it looks. You got to go for part of the ride in it, and it did good. I mean, if you think about all the stuff I did to it, how long it sat, how long we had to wait to drive it, you expect to find a few things wrong. But thanks for watching, and there'll be more on this truck before we get it ready to go racing. We'll haul my car to the racetrack. I should reword that. We're not racing the truck. Thanks, and bye.